good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Fundraising BIDness Talk, episode 58. My name is Patrick Cyber. I'm your host and lead auctioneer at G Events LLC, based in Beaverton, Oregon. So happy to be with you today. We've got a fun conversations today and topics to talk about. We just completed a week last week where we did 3 fundraising auction events, all 3 in different formats, and we've got 2 more this week, 2 more next week, and 1 more after that. So we're going to do 8 events this month, which is fantastic and exciting to be a part of. But it is the thing that catches my mind is the array of different styles and formats. And so I wanted to share with you today the different things that I saw work, not work, things that I want to take into consideration moving forward, and things along those natures. So before we get started, I want to encourage everybody, please, give us a little hello, give us a little shout out in the comment box. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And as always, please feel free to ask any questions, whether they're on the topic we're discussing at the time, or you have another topic you want to visit about, or you've got a question, anything to do with the fundraising auction business or fundraising golf tournament business, let me know, because we are definitely getting close to that time of year. Well, in fact, we're doing our first golf event of the year, June 5 and 6, down in Edmond, Oklahoma, for the Scott and Kim Verplank Foundation. We'll be doing that event at Oklahoma City Golf and Country Club. Traditionally, we're at Oak Tree National up in Edmond, but they're doing some renovations to their golf course, as they are always trying to be on the cutting edge with their incredible layout there at Oak Tree National. And we're going to be taking a year away from there while they're under refurbishing, and we'll be at Oklahoma City Golf and Country Club. So looking forward to being there, and Scott's always got a great field of celebrities participating. It's going to be a lot of fun and generate dollars for to distribute scholarships for students with type 1 diabetes. Scott has been a diabetic since age 9, and has gone on to have a very illustrious career on the PGA Tour and now Champions Tour, PGA Tour champions, and has done some incredible things. Played on, I think, 3 different Ryder Cup teams, 3 President's Cup teams, been a co-captain or a assistant captain on a couple of Ryder Cups. And so always great to be around Scott and see the impact that he has on the young people with type 1 diabetes. He's a great role model. So we're excited about that. And then let's talk about some of the events that we did. We did 3 events last week, I mentioned, and I'm going to start with the first one. The first one was a stream with a studio audience, and this one was really kind of fun. We have done this event. We've had really tremendous success with this event over the last couple of years. The event had always been successful. It's the primary fundraising event for the Campbell course, which is home of the children's course in First Tee Greater Portland, out in Gladstone, and other places that we're providing First Tee programming. I think there's 6 sites throughout the Portland metro area, reaching all the way down to Eugene. And we had traditionally, the name of the event is the Wine and Golf Ball, which is kind of a fun name. And we had for many years been up at the Oregon Golf Club and combined a wine tasting event with a auction and paddle raise, both silent and a live auction. And then we would the wine tasting, the whole thing, it was a fun event. And when COVID struck, we moved that event to the virtual format with probably about 6 weeks lead time, and knocked it out of the park with our friends over at the AV department. We were able to use their studio, and we're very lucky in that we have the lovely Amy Troy, who's a long-time news broadcaster here in the Portland market, and she has retired from broadcast journalism, but still makes a few appearances, and we're lucky enough to have Amy as our MC. So Amy and I went to the studio back in 2020 and did the show, used a format that we kind of pioneered and continue to utilize. And the event netted more than it had ever done. And that was pretty cool. So 2021 came around. We thought we'd need to do that again, and we did. And once again, we exceeded our net um, our net goal from the year before, or net results from the year before, which was phenomenal. So this year, as we got started, we were wondering what format to use. I was pretty adamant that we should continue to stream the event because we'd had success with streaming, but that we should add a studio audience. And so we decided to move the event to Portland Golf Club, which is a real centrally located, convenient location for folks. And we moved it to Portland Golf Club, but we restricted the audience to about 75 people. And we changed the format so that the format included a social hour where people came and mixed and mingled. There was a little wine tasting to bring back some of the favorite characteristics of the wine and golf ball. So we had some of our favorite wineries here in the region participating. I know we had Chehalem. My buddy Michelle Fritz was there, passing out and describing and explaining the phenomenal wines of Chehalem, part of the Stoller Family Estates group of wineries. And then we moved folks from that social hour into what we called the studio. And we had theater style seating in the East Dining Room there at the club. And it was all set up by our buddies at the AV department. Of course, our preferred partner when it comes to audiovisual on auction events and any live streaming that we're going to be doing. We love to work with the AV department. And so the AV department was there, and they set up the stream for us, and we did the event with a studio audience, and it was really cool. It was kind of what we've envisioned and what we've executed a few different times, where we had kind of a VIP experience for a select group of individuals that have been generous supporters of the organization over the years, continue to support, and we did our traditional virtual format. Now, the only difference is that we did allow simulcast bidding. So, as we have recommended on many occasions here, and continue to recommend, is that we've moved all of our silent auctions to online, and we recommend a week-long bidding window where we have bidding online in our online auction, starting with a week before our gathering event, and have it continue until about a half hour after that signature social event. And we continued to do that with this event. The difference is our live auction packages, of which we had 5, we allowed bidding to take place both online and in the room with us, so that it was incredibly powerful, and it was a lot of fun to watch and be a part of. And luckily our buddies at Octria have really made the simulcast bidding feature pretty easy for our charity auctions, and that was proven that day. It worked seamlessly. We had bids from, quite honestly, all over the country. We had folks that had traditionally supported the organization, but happened to be one was at the Kentucky Derby, and another one was in another part of the country, and they still tuned in on their Octria app and watched the show and also bid on the items. We used the live auction controller on Octria, which allows us to place not only the live stream on the same screen that would show up on your phone or on your computer, but also as the auctioneer, I have the controls to control which item is visible. So as we move through the paddle raise, as we move through the live auction, I'm controlling that from wherever I may be, whether it's in a studio, whether I'm at home in the studio, whether I am in an in-person event, which we did later that weekend. It's a really cool feature. So check it out, live auction controller on Octria. And then the way we set it up with the simulcast is that I allocate one of our team to bid for the house. And what I mean by that is we register a bidder and we give them the name at Portland Golf Club, which was the venue that we were using, right? Because we're huge fans of having our of having our of having our bidders visible to the other bidders. So in other words, you can hide the names or you can all have the names to show. We like to show the names. I think it gives it a little bit more personal touch, more closely resembles a real true live auction where we're all in the same ballroom together. And so we registered a bidder. We call it at Portland Golf Club. And so whenever I took a bid in the room, Kelsey, who was working with us that night, she had the app open. She was logged in as at Portland Golf Club, and she would literally hit the bid button. And so whenever I was taking the bid in the room, she would hit the bid button. Everybody online would see the bid is at an X amount of dollars, and it's at Portland Golf Club. So everybody online that, hey, the bid is in the house there. Now, if somebody bid from outside the house, if they, wherever they may be, I mentioned the gal that was at the Kentucky Derby. She bid from the Kentucky Derby. Pretty cool. She was at a social event there, and she's bidding on her app. So kind of a fun deal. But I thought the interaction with the crowd, the simulcast bidding was awesome. I really enjoyed the interaction with the studio audience. One of the things that I like about that is it gives it more of that live TV feel. I actually watched a program today that was broadcast last night, and it was clear to me it was all taped and it was all sewn together. It just didn't have the interaction. It was, to me, it didn't engage me. It was more like, having somebody talk to me. I felt like I was at a, how would I say this? I felt like I was at I was taking a class on Zoom or something. It was kind of like, hey, here's why you should support us, and here's, what you need to do. And, it was a lot of instruction and not any interaction, not any communication. It wasn't casual, just a little too formal for me. But that was okay. But that was one of my observations from the events we did last week. Not only the in-person event with the stream, or the in-person event 100% on Saturday night, or even our stream only event on Thursday night, I felt like having that MC for me as an auctioneer was a real plus. I think that I have someone to communicate with. I can kind of anticipate their answers. We can kind of set the table before the event on areas that we might discuss, or if we've watched the videos. I just think it's more engaging for people to watch. It's kind of like watching this. Sometimes if it's just me and there's and all I'm doing is talking, sometimes that can be somewhat boring. But as opposed to if I have someone like last week when we had Dee Dee Kiso on about her new book, great auctioneer out of the San Jose area, wonderful person, Dee Dee. It was a lot of fun to interact and chat with her, and I think it gives you a little bit of a window into what we do as auctioneers. So, but with the MC, I think the MC is really important, and there should be good chemistry there. I think it's the responsibility of the auctioneer to create that chemistry. The MC is there, but I think if the auctioneer can help with that atmosphere and that interaction, that quite honestly, I think it helps organizations raise more money because people are having a good time and they're engaged. So don't overlook the role of an MC. I think it's a lot more important than I maybe have given it credit in the past. I thought it was positive. I thought it was great, so you didn't have to listen to one voice the whole time. But I think it's more than that. I think it's important to have that interaction. So, hey, as folks are joining in, I want to make sure feel free, please drop a hello in the chat. Let us know where you're at and who you're tuning in with, and also feel free to ask any questions. If I touch on something, maybe it stimulates you to have a question, feel free, drop it in the comment box. I'll be able to see it here in the StreamYard studio, and I will I'll put it up on the screen and see if we can answer it for you. So yeah, definitely say hello. So then the next event we did was a stream only event, and this was for a Title I school in our area. It's a very, very, by definition, being Title I, it has a lot of um, uh, diversity in the student body, and a lot of different socioeconomic levels involved and engaged at the school. And so really the premise is to create an event that everybody could participate in. And so that's what we did. We did some fun stuff, and people didn't have to buy a ticket. They could register to win. We gave away a gift card just to someone who registered. And that's a fun thing, a giveaway, a register to win, as I call them, is a tool that I think is really positive. Uh, I've gotten to where I like them a lot because I think people will register, especially if you tell them there's no cost associated with registering. And once they've registered, you're starting to build that database of your donors. I think that can be a real positive for you. Expand your reach of people that you can reach out to on behalf of your nonprofit organization. But I think it also builds some energy. And so in a school environment, a lot of times you've got folks that can't wait to get back together, and they want to have a big party, and they want to get dressed up, and they want to have a babysitter, and they want to take Uber, and they want to have steak and cocktails and the whole deal. And other parts of the community may not be able to participate in that. So what I liked about this organization was, hey, it was a stream only event. It was a weeknight event. Now, that's something I want to touch on. Weeknights versus weekends. I think that if you're going to do a 100% streaming event, I've said it all along, it has been reinforced in my head over and over in the last few weeks, that if you're going to stream, that you're going to have more success on a weeknight than you are on a weekend. I think in our new environment that we're in, as we're coming out of COVID and post pandemic, I think one of the things that has changed in our society is people have become a lot more selfish with their weekends. And so if you can get people to show up to your in-person weekend social event, fundraising gala, that's terrific. But I think when you're streaming on the weekend, I think it's a pretty hard sell to get people to tune in on a weekend to watch a live streamed event. It better have some pretty engaging activity on it. So this event last week, though, I was mentioning some of the raffles. We actually had 4 different giveaways that night. We sold raffle tickets to a Yeti cooler that was full of adult beverages. It was fantastic, a fun deal. Sold a bunch of tickets for that. I'm always encouraging folks to limit the number of tickets. I think people perceive odds. I don't go buy a lottery ticket because I think it's a 1 in 10 billion billion chance that I'm going to win. But if you tell me I've got 1 in 100 chance, hey, I could be that lucky person, right? So we gave away an item. We also had we had some really fun stuff. We used the StreamYard giveaway tool, and we had a couple of giveaways just for tuning in, and the way we controlled that. And I would say that it was a great situation. We used StreamYard for the event, but we also used their StreamYard giveaway tool, and it's at giveaway. I think I got it right. I believe that this is the deal, but you can define a hashtag, okay? And if you define a hashtag, then anybody that puts that hashtag into the comment box, regardless of what platform they're on, is part of the drawing. And so we did that a couple of times, and the attempt was to get people to stay engaged throughout the program. And as I watched the numbers on the viewer count, the IP account at the top of the screen in StreamYard, I noticed that we didn't have any drop. I mean, it would, we stayed pretty consistent through the entire show. And I think that those giveaways throughout the program were really handy. So what we would do is I announced right the first of the show, we have a giveaway I think we gave away a $50 Costco gift card. And all you had to do was type in a certain hashtag, We had people, more than the number of IP addresses tuned in, typed it in, which leads me to believe that there's multiple people watching on the same device, right? Whether it's a smart TV or a computer or whatever. And we did one about a quarter of the way show, maybe a third of the way through the show. And then we rolled the StreamYard giveaway tool, and we saw that winner, and then we announced the next hashtag. So, it wasn't like people could tune in for 2 seconds and put in the hashtags. They had to watch the show to do it. And, I think it worked well. And then our last, what was our last raffle? Maybe that was it. That might have been. It was the other night. It was Saturday night. We had 4 different raffles going on. So anyhow, don't forget that StreamYard giveaway tool. That's a handy utility to use if you're doing some streaming, whether it's for your main program, or we use it all the time in our kickoff events, where we kick off the live bidding or the online bidding for a fundraising week, and we'll use that giveaway tool just to engage viewers on that live stream with giveaway a $25 Amazon gift card. You hear me saying this and you're like, well, gosh, is that kind of hard to do? Why Amazon? I'll tell you what, the logic is pretty straightforward. First of all, Amazon gift card, just about everybody can utilize. Most people are utilizing Amazon in some fashion for something, or would if they were given a gift card. The second thing about it is it's incredibly easy to distribute. I literally go off the broadcast and go onto my Amazon account, and I email the winner a gift card, right? And what's fun is that I can customize that gift card. So I'll put an image that I created on Canva with the fundraising events logo and whatever, something cute. And I put it right onto the gift card and I email it to the people. And they get it immediately. And it's like, wow, how cool is this, right? And then I always remind them, bid high and bid often. So anyhow, so we did that weeknight event Thursday night. That was a stream only event. And then come Saturday, we had an in-person event. Now this was a in-person with no stream. We did not live stream this event at all. We had talked about it early on, and this is an interesting conversation. I was pretty adamant when we started talking about the event that once we picked the date, that once we identified that May 7th was going to be their fundraising event, that we had a fundraising event on that May 7th. So, I said this event will evolve as we get closer to it, right? So when we set the date 10 months ago, 8 months ago, we were still under mask mandates. We were still not gathering. We were still, there was a lot of things going on. So we said, okay, we may just live stream this event. As we got closer and things started to relax a little bit, we added an in-person component. We thought, okay, we'll in-person and we'll live stream, right? But as we got closer, we realized that our audience, we felt like if we had 120 people in the room, that we had pretty much captured their audience. And because the event was on a Saturday, I could not, with a clear conscience, recommend, based on having done this event or this group several times, I couldn't recommend spending the additional resources on live streaming the event. I didn't think they were going to return on that investment. So what we did was kind of an in-between, right? Kind of a cool idea. We went with a simulcast bidding on the live auction and the paddle race, but we did not live stream it. And so what we did was we set up the live auction controller once again on Octria.com. We set up that live auction controller. We did not have any connection to the live event, but what we did was we controlled what was on their bid paddles on their cell phones, and we were able to communicate with them via text that, hey, we're about to start the live auction. Make sure you go to this tab in the auction website and you can follow the action. So it was really clear and really cool. And we actually took some bids from folks that were out online. And the interesting part about that is because we weren't live streaming, there was no confusion, right, from the latency. So, if we run that stream, if we run a stream through YouTube or Vimeo, anybody we run a live stream through, that video travels slower than the data. So a lot of times our Octria app will be ahead of the live stream when you're sitting at home. And so by not doing the live stream, people were seeing what they had to bid immediately and needed to react immediately. So it was kind of cool. But that was a great idea, and it worked really, really well. So what we planned on doing and executed well was we kind of monitored the evening. We had told people, we had put it on the website that, hey, tune in here roughly 7 o'clock, 7:30, I think 7:30, when we go to our paddle raise and our live auction. Tune in here on your device in the Octria app and follow along and make your donation in support of the school, but also bid on the live auction packages. So it worked really well. It was fun. And then what we did was, as the evening progressed, we sent text to all the bidders and said, hey, we anticipate starting the live auction in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it was. And then we sent one saying, hey, the paddle raise is starting now. The live auction is starting now. And we got some action. We got some donations too, which is really cool. So fun stuff. If you're using the right auction software, you can do it. And I'm always going to tell you, we love Octria.com because it works and it's solid and it's simple, and a lot of flexibility, a lot of opportunity there. So it was a big week and we had a lot of fun. We raised, close to $400,000 last week, and for 3 organizations, and those dollars will continue to help those organizations do what they do to make our communities better places to live and work. And we're excited to be a part of their success. Probably one thing I wanted to share with you is a favorite. I get text, as you can imagine, I get text all the time from people who are maybe they're at an event. And they say, hey, I know, you're better than this auctioneer or whatever. Yeah, jokingly, or I'm at this event. Wow, we should do this or whatever. But I got a text, a photo just the other night after I got off the air doing that first event where we were simulcasting, and my buddy Casey Waggy sent me a photo. Now this is the dashboard of his vehicle, and he is watching our live stream. He called it being on Uber duty for his daughter getting her to their sports practices for the night. But he sent me this screenshot of his vehicle. He had the live stream up on his up on his dashboard, and you can see he was on Interstate 5 going along, listening, and shouldn't have been watching, Casey, but he was at least listening and watching to the stream. He's also a board member, but he had family duty that night, and so there we are. There's Amy, Troy, and myself, and then Chaz, who's one of the students in the program at the Campbell course, has done some really cool things, been with us for many, many years, and is now a part of what we call the Junior Ambassador Board. And we brought, he was at the event in support, and we brought him up on stage with Amy and I, and had him help us with some of the bid calling and some of the fun stuff, and tell a little bit more about his story. So it was all around fun night. So yeah, it doesn't get any better than that. So anyhow, hey folks, that is our show for this week. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment box. Otherwise, I'm going to say goodbye. I want to remind you that Fundraising BIDness Talk is live every Wednesday at noon Pacific Daylight Savings Time. And you can catch all the episodes. If you missed one, you think you might learn something, or you got to have an opinion and want to share it with us, go to fundraisingbidnesstalk.com, and all 58 episodes are up in order there. You can catch it. Lots of good ideas, lots of fun stuff. And then also, as always, reach out to us at geventsllc.com if you think that I can be of help to you and your event, your organization, whether it's a fundraising auction or a golf tournament. Please reach out and let me know if we can help you in any way. There's a scheduling app on there from our friends at Calendly, and you can schedule a consultation at no cost to yourself, and let us know how we can help. Otherwise, Want to thank you for tuning in today, and appreciate you being here. Look forward to seeing you next week. And remember, it doesn't matter where you start the bidding. It's all about where you finish. Bid high and bid often, folks. Have a great day.